My friends, welcome to another episode of the Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast, brought to you by Mafia Sports Report. As always, I'm Dr. Love, and of course, there's no introduction needed.
Listen.
Just kidding. There's always an introduction needed. That's Sauce Bronson, baby.
You see these ashy hands? They come from the light-skinned man who only has a plan only because Dr. Love can.
There we go. We're going to keep this going and keep it going. And then it's the whole show. The opening will be the whole show. But we got another fun-filled, wrestling podcast for you guys. We just had AEW's Full Gear show, and I'm not going to lie, this ended up turning out to be a pretty good show. I mean, there were some stinkers, don't get me wrong, but the good outweighed the bad, in my opinion, for sure on this one. So we're here to talk to you guys about that, and then also kind of give you a quick preview of the Survivor Series for WWE, which honestly at this point has only got 5 matches, but usually that happens when you have big, Hell in a Cell. Now we have War Games matches that take up a lot of time. So, but we'll go over that in a little while.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the dusty undershirt. I had a lot going on the past 7 hours. None of y'all business, but just deal with it.
Yes, Sauce was a busy man. So, but we're just get right into it for Full Gear. We'll just go from the bottom to top on this. So, the opening match of the night.
Listen, Doc, you can do however you want to. I say it's our show.
Oh, I know. I just because I have it right here in front of me too. So we have a 6-way tag team match because you know how much we love those kind of matches. So you have Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair, and that is definitely needed, of course. Versus they defeated the patriarchy of Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. In a 15-minute match, mind you. 15-minute match that they shouldn't have got 15 minutes. That's just me. There isn't much else to say about this match. It was cool seeing. It's always cool seeing Edge out there. They had sweet matching kind of face paint from like Sting and Darby Allin, all this thing. But honestly, it just was, Sting, he's done, right? We already know he's done at Revolution next year.
Yep.
And they won't stop talking about it after the match. They won't stop talking about it. So every show is going to be the same now, right? Like, I thought maybe that they would lose this match because of the pushing the feud of Christian and Adam Copeland, but unfortunately, no. They still, it was funny because, Christian ran away with the belt, ran so fast he was out of the arena, and they're like, I'm not even chasing him anymore, but okay, bye.
Right.
That was a funny spot, but I'm still can't get over how much I'm not into Luchasaurus, and definitely not into Nick Wayne. Definitely not into Nick Wayne. So
really, I thought you were.
Yeah, whatever. He besmirches the name Nick. How about I say that? He does. I'm besmirched, I say. But no, I'm just typical 6-man tag match mentality. There wasn't much else to this, honestly. Like I said, it just furthers the eventual Adam Copeland Christian match, which will be a very good match. So I don't know if they're gonna wait on that or they're gonna pull the trigger too soon because they have their World's End show next month, and they need to make sure they have enough people to buy that show. So they might pull the triggers sooner than later, knowing TK on that. But did you have any thoughts on this match, Sauce?
The only thought was I was happy when it was over.
Yeah.
But I will say this, if this is all just more subs for finally getting Edge versus Christian and whatnot, because most of this card, I was just like, whatever. There was definitely a few diamonds as far as this card goes. But I'm with you at this point. Christian Cage just go. Luchasaurus, he just works there. Nick Wayne, they'll build him up for another 2 weeks. Then he'll end up on AEW, Hulu, or whatever they'll be at. Whatever the bottom of the talent goes. Edge, listen, just at this point, just see what he does between now and let's just see what he gives us between 9 and 6 months. I think that's a fair assessment as far as because I feel like that's how long Tony Khan is going to have him as far as at least as far as booked regularly. Sting, you already know how I feel. Once you hit over 50, it's time to retire, regardless of who you are in pro wrestling. And then Darby Allin, the future is only as bright as Tony Khan's booking. So, but as far as the match goes, it was there. It happened. I'm personally going to go with. Let's just two head. Yeah, just give it 2 headlocks. Yeah, it was there. It existed. It happened.
I have to agree with you on that. The 2 headlock makes the most sense, I'd say, just because there wasn't much else happening there, furthering the storyline. But that's so I would have to say that for sure.
Cool.
Let's see what we have here. So moving on, we do have the Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed, versus John Moxley match for the International Championship. And I'll tell you right now, for them booking this and billing this as like the second in a big fight, this really wasn't. I mean, it was like the first match was pretty sweet. They headlined the show. They were the headliner. And then it was crazy, kind of weird, weird finish. Orange Cassidy took was bleeding. And I'm not saying this didn't happen in this match. Of course, Moxley bled, of course. He already had a bandage on his head, and here we go. They're just waiting for it to come. But the match itself was first. It was only 12 minutes long, 12-minute match. And it just didn't have the intensity compared to their first match. I mean, for God's sake, Orange Cassidy did 7 orange punches to him. It was at least 6. And he just kept punching him. And after 3, it became the whole joke when Roman Reigns was a good guy. And he would do hold on. You know what he should do though? He'd be instead of this, he should be just squeezing the
how Roman charges up.
Yeah.
Orange just goes.
Yep, exactly.
This is some nonchalant way of pumping up.
Yeah. So all that happens, and it's just I don't know. I just didn't see at all there was some moves in that match that looked pretty good, but I think it's because the first match headlined the show, so they had a little bit more to work with time wise, and they expected more. But I still I don't know. It was okay, but it was only 12 minutes long. So they didn't give them enough time to work. And you'll see that with some of these other matches, and you'll see where that time went. And in a good way, it basically. But yeah, I mean, as for furthering anything, I'm happy that Moxley didn't win because he doesn't want that belt.
No, he doesn't want to show up. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. Start wrestling at 8:03 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday for the next 3 months.
Nope. He's can I please go on break? Can I go on vacation, please? Please.
And that's what I was saying, as far as last week, I was there's no way in the world this man is about to show up and show up opening every Dynamite, having to wrestle for 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes for the next few months. He's not doing that. But what I will say, I do, for the most part, I'm in agreement with you. I feel like this match would have been better had this been maybe a week or 2 after the first bout.
All right. Yeah, I could buy that for sure.
I mean, think about that, with Mox, the headline, Mox goes over, he becomes international champion. And then imagine I'll put it this way, Doc, imagine maybe because obviously, Orange, as far as Cassidy has to sell, him getting his behind kicked in a brutal main event, maybe he comes back in 2-3 weeks tops, and then they have this match.
Yeah.
This rematch. How would you feel about it then? Now, obviously, this time, he basically, if he wins, he basically gets the belt back. And then Mox goes off to the sunset for 6 months. But with that being said, how would you feel if this match would have happened 3 weeks versus 2.5 months later?
Yeah, that would have worked better because the time, then you had the feud was still fresh,
Yeah.
still fresh in the eye. So it would have definitely worked. But then, of course, he had the incident kind of happen with him and Ray Phoenix, So like they had to kind of come up on the fly to like, oh, I'm okay. So let him have it, get the belt back.
You think about that, Doc. Ray Phoenix, that happened to what, 2 weeks after?
Yeah.
So granted,
that was the problem. So
so instead of Ray Phoenix 2 weeks after, you get Orange Cassidy 2 weeks after.
Yep.
And then then Ray Phoenix is chasing him behind, Penta, doing whatever it is they doing.
Right. So yeah, I mean like I said, the match was still pretty good. They still kind of, but I just once he got to like doing all these orange punches over and over and over and over and over again, like I was just kind of like, okay, calm down. So to me, I'd say just a 2.5.
All right,
like a 2.5 headlock for me. Yeah, and now Moxley can hopefully take a little bit of a reprieve. Hopefully. We'll see. But they'll probably be like, nah, we still need you on every show for sure.
At this point, you still got Claudio. He can run. He can run the Combat Club until Mox comes back. You still got Danielson.
Yeah.
He's about to start his thing with Okada in about a month and a half. Yep. Once again, you still got you got all these guys who are more than capable of doing what they got to do as a unit.
Yep, I agree.
They can do it by themselves. They can still do it together without Mox.
Yep, I know. Hey, I am 100% with you on that for sure. So now Claudio was on the pre-show, for God's sake. So it's not like
I'm not about to get started.
No, I know. Hey, I know. Trust me. So, but yeah. So moving on, we do have the first of the 2 women's championship matches. We do have Timeless. Sorry, Toni Storm versus champion Hikaru Shida, where she defeated her and became the new AEW Women's Champion. So, all right, 2 things I have with this. This was only a 10.5-minute match. They only gave them 10.5 minutes.
It went on way longer than that.
It did. Now, not necessarily the bad thing. I thought, Toni Storm's a great wrestler, so Shida can be as well. The match didn't really seem to how matches slogged down. They were kind of moving a little bit. Toni Storm's really working this gimmick. It's working for her. But it's also classic heel gimmick. She's got the shoe gimmicks. She got Luther with her. Here's the shoe. Here's hiding the shoe. Oh, you get caught with the one shoe. Now you're going to hit her again. It almost felt like she pulled out everything in the book. Every single thing in the book to beat her. But only in a 10.5-minute match. You're basically half of that was just you using your weapons against her and not really showcasing more of the wrestling. So that was kind of like, okay, all right. The monster push to get her the championship because of how popular she is now. I mean, look at when she first started it, and then now it's like, bam, championship match, bam, you've won.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, but maybe you could have built that up a little bit. She didn't have to win right away, but now she's champion. Now you have to deal with that. The fact that she's champion, and you make her the monster champion that holds the belt for half a year or more, or she doesn't need the belt because right now she's got obviously full heel with people that they still like her. That's the idea. And just kind of moving forward, seeing who would benefit from the rub from her in a match, so to speak. And I don't know. Like I said, we'll see because when it came to the TBS match later in the night, you got other people there that could easily have went for the women's title, but they're really treating that like only certain women can fight for that belt. It's so weird. It's to me, it's so odd to me, but I don't know. That's why it's so mean. I know I still look at it this way. I still treat that belt, the TBS belt, like it's a
mid-card
women's, like a women's intercontinental title or a women's U.S. title, even though I don't treat it like it's how on Raw and SmackDown we have the world and then the WWE women's title. Even though that's not, I don't have an issue with that. I'm saying, but that's not how you treat that TBS title because of how Cargill held it for so long. It didn't become it wasn't a women's title. It was kind of like just, it was a higher up title. I don't know. It's just something like that. That's how I kind of looked at it. But regardless, with this match, it was good. She showcased that ending. The ending still was a little messed up. I know there was something because the thing kept falling out of her trunks or whatever. I don't even know what that was. It looked like a shoehorn at first or something. I don't know what the hell it was, but some kind of metal plate thing. And she played it off pretty funny. Her reaction was the best because she kind of played it off like, "Oh, it's okay." And of course she, I'll take that spot in the corner any day, Sauce. Right? I'll be like, "Hey, bring it out. Let's go. I've got it."
The only thing I say, the only thing would have been better would have been the classic WWE ruthless aggression women's wrestling era, good old Bronco Buster.
Oh yeah, great video of like when Jamie Noble was wanting that because like Tori Wilson was doing it to Nydia. So he like grabs Nydia out and then he gets in the corner like, "Let's go!" and then like Rey Mysterio jumps over her and hits him with it. so it's kind of funny. It is me. Excuse me. But as for the match itself, it was pretty good. I just wish it was a little longer. It was only 10 minutes and 25 seconds long, but it still, to me, warrants 3 headlocks. Mainly because I just like them. I think they're good. They have good storytelling. I think pushing forward. I hope that they have some good feuds for her. Like give me a great feud with her and like Britt Baker. You know what I'm saying? That would be a great feud right there for it. It'd be even another match with like Ruby Soho. Be like, "Oh, you want the title?" And then like, take her out here. But give her like a 20-minute match, on a pay-per-view. Or, sometimes they do these dynamites where they'll have like 3 high caliber matches, give them a lot of time for it or something. They might do that too. So I'm going to give it a 3 headlock.
Speaking of Ruby Soho, at this point, okay, so y'all started this little 3-man band group together. You guys went on, 3-4 month maybe run. Then all of a sudden, Saraya, she gets gold, even though she really didn't need it and didn't even deserve, really, to me, didn't really deserve having it. Because, you're a great manager, but that doesn't mean you should be a champion because of it. Then you have Toni Storm, who's now, if I'm not mistaken, Doc, since they joined this group, well, technically not, but so when they was in the group, Toni Storm won gold. And then now that the band is broken up, Toni Storm's won more gold again.
Yep.
So at this point, if I'm Ruby, where do I go from here? Do I try to play politics and try to get myself ready? I mean, elevated for another title shot at least, or try to get a decent title run? Or do I just go down to the women's mid-card division, try to, put together a strong TBS title run? Or do I just wait my contract out and say, you know what, if I'm just going to be used like this, hell, I might as well just go back to WWE where they need a strong push for the women's division again. So
yeah, that's some good questions right there.
So these 3 different paths to take, which one do you think would be the most suitable?
So personally, I think if I had to out of those choices,
let me know if you need a minute.
No, I think I'm good. I think I would say that the going for the TBS title would make more sense. I think. I mean, it wouldn't. She would be like welcome back, in my opinion, back to the WWE with open arms. But I just feel like right now, they have a lot of talent, especially from NXT being brought up and everything, that she might get kind of like washed to the side a little bit.
Or go down to NXT.
Yeah, and some people, that's not a bad thing if you get, if you're going to be pushed good there. But ever since they got rid of the like women's tag team titles in NXT, like so that like that might not help her cause. But I think maybe just going for like the TBS title might work better in her favor. But it's not looking good in my opinion for anything in the future, since they already have people kind of lined up to beat these people. Like they already got the stuff going on with the TBS title, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And then we'll, I don't see them having a long-term plan for her.
Right.
So, but the best option out of those is probably that, I mean, another option would be going with just like a different company, but that would be like the worst option in my opinion. I don't think that would work with it well. Like, say for example, just like out of nowhere, like TNA, because now they're rebranding back to TNA in January. They would want her, right? Like she'd go there.
And she'll do. I think she'll do exceptionally well over there.
Yeah, she could go there, and that would going somewhere else that's not the E that would work. Obviously, look what happened with Trinity. So she goes there, boom, and
as I predicted, I was like, as soon as she go there, oh yeah, she's gonna basically be the face of that division.
Yep. So that would be what I think for sure on that.
Okay, just curious. Overall, like I agree with you as far as the match itself. I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, as far as what these two brought to the table, it wasn't really nothing too much spectacular, but I thought it was pretty solid.
I gotcha. All right. So moving on, we do have the Fatal 4-Way tag team match, which ended up becoming a ladder match, which we did not know until Dynamite. So it was a Fatal 4-Way tag team ladder match for the AEW tag team titles. You have champions Big Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus Faction Ingobernable, which is Rush and Drolistico. And then you have FTR, of course, Cash Wheeler and Dex Harwood. But it was funny on Dynamite last week. The graphic came up and definitely said hardwood with a D. So he tweeted out or whatever, and it was like, I see the joke. Like, it was just funny to me. I was like, it says hardwood.
And then during our AEW viewing party, for some reason, I kept referring to him as Dax Shepard.
Oh, yeah. Dax Shepard at home, like, what the hell? I wasn't in this match. That'd be, oh, God, how funny. And then, of course, you have the Kings of the Black Throne, as they're referred to, when they're in just that tag team of Brody King and Malachi Black. So I will say the fact that this got turned into a ladder match made me care about this match more, for sure, because we talked about last week about the idea of Fatal 4-Way tag team matches. Even for the tag team titles, they can sometimes be especially first pinfall, first submission wins can be kind of overwhelming. Ladder matches can be the same way, but you can at least get a little bit more entertaining out of it, and this ended up being a little bit more entertaining. A 20-minute match, 20 minutes and 35 seconds. And it was pretty good. And I'm not going to lie, they did make it to where you really did not know who was going to win. Once Ricky Starks and Big Bill won the titles, pretty much including myself, thought just transitional champion. There's no way, why would they win them? Similar to the Guns when they won the titles, when they won the tag team titles before they kind of blew up and before they got more popular as their heel group. But yeah, it was weird watching it because these guys were good. They had some good, like seeing people like Rush move, bigger guy move. Drolistico at one point he was so hot there, and I was like, damn it, he's gonna lose. Like I sat there. It's always that thing. You always get the upper hand on everybody, and you're like, yeah. It's like, oh crap. he's not winning. He's not winning this shit. But yeah, there was some bumps there in that match though. Remember when they put that ladder, the Brody King spot, the ladder that was like on the.
Then he like died on the ladder, and then they put the ladder back up.
Oh,
I was like, okay,
that ladder did not want to break. I mean, they do not want to break, and yeah, Brody King, big boy Brody King, and he was on there, and he slammed them through that, and he slammed on top of it. Oh my god! And then, yeah, it was a little bit of everything, a lot of big spots here and there. Big Cass, I got Big Bill, Big Cass, I've always never really liked him, since even when he was with Enzo and Cass, he was like, okay, they were hot, don't get me wrong, but that was really Enzo on the mic.
It was all Enzo.
Exactly. So he looked pretty good in this match in his big boots, his blue big boots he had. Do you see those he had? They were like they looked like furry. They looked like not furry, but like you could touch them and they feel soft.
I say, right, listen, he walked in the club. He was in the club with the boots with the fur, and the whole club was looking at her. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, it was a pretty good match. Malachi got in there for a few very good hits there. Seeing Brody King and Big Cass go against each other. The big meats, and I love that that's a thing now. The big beef hits now, like chants. Because just saying, we've talked about the big slapping sweaty meats. Okay, that's been a thing here for.
Listen. Me and Doc. Listen, when it comes to these wrestling matches, hey, I say we love when big beef is smacking other big beefs.
Yeah. So now the fact that like the AEW crowd chants like beef, like they're hitting each other like beef, beef. It kind of makes me smile. But most people kind of assumed the FTR was winning this match. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people voted for him. I can't remember who I voted for on our thing now that I think about it. Actually, I do. Never mind. I got the paper right here in front of me. I still had it by my desk. Let's see who I voted for. It's always one thing what we kind of say last week, but then sometimes we change our minds. I actually went with FTR. Yeah. So it's, it could have been them. It could have been, but it looks like they have a bigger storyline set up for Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I don't know what exactly, because I think, well, when we talk about our next match here, or a couple matches, it'll make more sense. But as for like a rating for this match, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'll give it a 3.5. I'd give it a 3.5 because I was already more hyped to the fact that it was a ladder match. That helped. That helped for sure. But there were some good spots in there, and it did genuinely make me not know who was going to win. For sure. So that's always a good thing whenever I see that. So
Doc, you said we're doing 3.5?
Yeah. So for me 3.5.
Like for me, well, I'll give it a 2 only because the ladder match is the only reason why why it drew my attention. Because I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the ladder match, I probably wouldn't even pay no attention. Yeah, at one point, there was this, there was suspense. You didn't know who's gonna get who's gonna win the title, if FTR was gonna get it, or if it's gonna retain. But for the most part, it was just I was watching. I was like, okay, all right. Don't get me wrong. There was a few solid ladder spots. I just feel like the ladder, for the most part, the ladder is the main reason why my interest was, why they held my interest for as long as they did. How long was that match, by the way?
That match was 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yep.
So during that time, I was like, imagine like without a ladder and having to watch this for 20 minutes, there's no way. But
Exactly.
like I said, with like I said, 2 headlocks, it was there. It happened. So
I hear you. Very reputable. Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So our next match we're going to go over is the for the women's or the TBS championship, which was now made into a triple threat match where it was Julia Hart, versus Chris Statlander, the champion, and everyone's favorite, Sky Blue. Most people's favorite, at least, Sky Blue. And Julia Hart pulled out the victory in this match. So in this match, they gave 11 minutes, 20 seconds. So it's longer than Tony Storm's women's match. So, take that as you will on that. Not much longer, but still longer. And it was a triple threat match. So, first pinfall, obviously, submission wins. It's one of those matches where, like, it could have been anybody to win. They've obviously been setting up the storyline with Sky Blue being kind of like infected, quote unquote, with Julia Hart's like the darkness, which I do like. I really like that, that they kind of started. It was slow progression too. Like she would be at like some shows after she got misted by her, and like she had the smaller, like the makeup was a little different. She'd act a little different. Like, and then she came out today and she took her hat off, her little backwards hat, and she threw it on the ground and she stomped on it. I'm like, that means that she's not a good guy anymore. Like, it was just so funny. But as for the match, Chris Statlander was great too. She always has great outfits. She was dressed up as a White Goodman. That was hilarious. That was so funny. And, and she always puts on a pretty good show. Julia Hart, to me, I haven't seen too much of her stuff, because she always kind of is behind as the valet kind of work. But it was a pretty good match. I thought she did very well, and it really could have been either way on this because one, being the triple threat rules, they could have had, Sky Blue win. Julia Hart basically kind of like controls her, and she's her new lackey. Then she could do whatever she wanted. Then she could get the belt. Or basically what happened here, where, Julia Hart does win by screwing over Sky Blue. So, and you kind of feel bad a little bit for Chris Statlander, but she did have a very respectable run. It's not like she didn't have a big run. She had a pretty good run with the title. I thought so. But what do you think, though, Sauce?
Actually, this is definitely one of the better matches of the night. What did you say? They 11 minutes?
Yep, 11:20. So 11 minutes 20 seconds.
I definitely say 11 minutes. 8 of them just seemed like it was just nonstop.
It did, yeah. Oh yeah, especially when she like pulled out the reverse power bomb or the sunset power bomb, like slammed, like because Sky Blue likes using that move. She likes jumping it. Like it's funny. Like I bring this up every time because it's the difference of how you do it. She does this move where she jumps into it and where it like fluidly move, like the move hits.
Right.
Roxanne Perez, who's good on her own in WWE and NXT or whatever, but she has to set it up and it takes so much more time and it just doesn't. It's like you literally lose wrestling. We're already pro wrestling. You're losing the suspension of belief at that point. So watching her do that, yes, it's very nice. Very nice.
Well, overall, yeah, I was like, definitely shout out to Julia Hart. She definitely deserves the belt, but I do feel like that, she's probably gonna hold on to this belt for like maybe. I'll be surprised if she still has this belt by the end of the year. Who knows if this is supposed to, if she's the transitional champ for the time being. Only time will tell. But yeah, I'm saying maybe by World's End. If she's not already dethroned, then I see, whoever she's facing by then, definitely whoever she's facing is going to be the new TBS Women's Champion.
Okay. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, they were talking to her afterwards at the media scrum. Media scrum there was now. They were talking to her, and I think she's like the youngest champion, the youngest women's champion they had. I don't know I didn't catch how old she was, but they were just talking to her. And so I'm like, she looks young, I don't know how young, but.
Or is this going to turn into another Liv Morgan title run where she basically is booked stronger than what she's really supposed to be?
Well, that's the bigger issue too. When you look at her physicality compared to other people, that's why this had to be a triple threat match. If you think of it that way, it had to be something where she had to be able to take advantage of the stronger, bigger champion or take advantage of the other person in the match. So, yeah, if you saw, like, if Julia Hart fought, let's just throw something out here. Just trying to think of someone off the top of my head. No, I said that's why I'm always trying to think of the damn women there.
Oh, you talking about a bigger woman? Let's just say Julia Hart versus Nyla Rose, or versus.
There you go. That's a good.
That's all I think on top of my head right now.
Well, no,
it's definitely. I would say out of all the women's division in wrestling, I would say AEW's probably got the smallest, and basically, I would say about the smallest ones out of all three. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. So I'd say, yeah, you got Nyla Rose and whatnot. That match doesn't make sense on paper, like, to have that, because it's not really realistic for her, the small, very small Julia Hart, to beat her unless you're winning under. She's a heel though, so we're winning under very heel tactic type situations. But even then, it's not really feasible. I remember actually, there's a good point here. There was a match in NWA. I say NWA in TNA wrestling where you had Gail Kim, who had left WWE and actually had a pretty good career in TNA. And it was a great move for her to go there. But she had a match against Awesome Kong. If anybody knows wrestling, know Awesome Kong. Okay.
Right.
You also know Gail Kim. Now, size difference is immensely different. Like, you're talking about, like, Awesome Kong did lose some weight too in later years, but she still was bigger, muscular.
Well, at least by 100 pounds.
So there was, in this match, it was for the women's title, and they both women's champion on their own. But there was a spot in this match. It was on TV. They gave them, because they pushed their women's division a lot, where Awesome Kong did just a off the top rope splash, literally a splash. Like, think of like Umaga splash on top rope. Gail Kim kicked out too. And it was already like 12, 13 minutes into the match. I remember looking at my brother and we were just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Like, and then Gail Kim ends up winning the match with her ridiculous eat the feet finisher, which is ridiculous. Especially if it's against Awesome Kong or someone bigger.
Hey Doc, what's your rule when it comes to finishers?
You better do it to every single person, every wrestler.
And what does she do?
What's up?
And what does she do?
She did this move to this. It just didn't look. It almost looked like she's missing the hit, because the move works on like people around your same size. But if you do it to someone that's like bigger, it just looks like you're messed up a move. Looks like you tried to kick them and then you fell on the ground, because that's the whole point. Throw their foot at their head, you drop back, they drop down, they hit their foot. But then she lost. Awesome Kong lost the match. Oh, it was so weird. So it was the weirdest thing ever to see her destroy her with a splash, and then she kicks out. Like, it was crazy. So that's what I mean. So hopefully, like you said, either they're going to push her to keep the belt for a bit, or they have more plans for somebody coming up to take that spot.
Right.
And well, they've got a month to figure it out. Because again, how I look at World's End is this. Unfortunately, you got to look at it as a money standpoint. This is a new pay-per-view. They need buy rates. That means they need matches that people want to care about to watch. That's why I believe the Adam Copeland Christian match will happen there. It shouldn't. They should wait, but it will happen. They need the buy rates for it. So, as for a women's match, if they end up, now I know what they said about Mercedes Moné. I'm not wrestling until 24. Okay, it's close enough. So it's like 2 days before 24.
Right.
Maybe they try to sign her for that. Maybe not. Maybe they bring. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. My hands are this. Here are my hands. I don't know what they're doing. So,
do you think we get a rematch of Hart versus Statlander?
I think. Oh no, that for sure is happening, because she gets that rematch regardless. I believe. So
figure, do they say it for Dynamite or do they say it for this new pay-per-view?
That's a good point. Normally in the past, I would say it would have been on Dynamite like 2 weeks from now after Thanksgiving, but because they have that show, yeah, they might push it to the World's End show then. They might say, look, your rematch is going to happen, at World's End or some whatever. Because, their whole storyline, their whole thing is like House of Black, the dark and the, kind of gloomy, the end of the world, World's End. There we go. It writes itself. There you go. See, you only get us at World's End with our stupid logo, by the way. I still can't get over there. But that's here nor there. But yeah, so for the match, though, I'm going to give it a 3. For only an 11-minute match. Yeah. Still pretty good. All right. So what I have here for next that was on the card here. There's my hands. So good. So the match that it's changed me. I'm like timeless Tony Storm. But we have to talk about Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page in a Texas Death Match where Swerve gets the win again. No rubber match. None. Dunzo. I'm just going to tell you right now. Slap that man meat up there, buddy. Man meat worthy. I'm just going to put it down now so no one has to wait.
All right.
This match to me, and I would have never thought in a million years it would have been. Not in a million.
Would you say you never thought in a million years you could put a man meat worthy match in the same breath as Hangman Page?
Yes, correct. Correct. Man meat worthy. So basically, yeah. I mean, we already kind of talked about this last week that this was going to be a different kind of match, knowing that it was basically a very glorified hardcore match. That Adam Page was going to act different, and he did. I mean, he didn't even let Swerve get in the ring. Ran out, immediately attacked him, which, they let Swerve come in, though, with his old music. Dancers. So it was sweet. It was, gets you excited. And it was cool, though. He was wearing trunks that were in honor of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Because Terry Funk wore those red and black striped tights, but so did The Fiend. So he was wearing those as like a homage to them. So I thought that was cool. Then the match happened. And I you know what? I don't even know. Let's get this out of the way first. I've watched wrestling my entire life, and there's been death matches. I talked about last week about what the real death match rules. Those have been kind of like forgotten to the time, and death matches typically just kind of became a big hardcore match. Well, for some reason, this became like a last man standing match. And I've just again looked up. Texas Deathmatch doesn't specifically say it's last man standing, so it just kind of became one, and it makes sense in the storyline, especially going through the match. It made more sense for that. But I don't even know, man. I don't even know. But I'm going to ask your opinion first. I'm going to ask you first about this, what your thoughts were, because I got thoughts, but I got to collect them here. Hold on, I got to grab them. I got to collect them.
So once again, me, I enjoy Adam Page. I feel it's almost like me and Doc are like indifferent as far as these two. Like, I like Adam Page, he likes Swerve Strickland or whatnot, and I just said, listen, people like if you want me to be on Swerve's side. Now, mind you, they just had a match, not too long ago. Where I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Here's the thing: I'm willing to give people chances to care about you if you're like most of the time if you're booked right. If you're not booked right, then 9 times out of 10, maybe it's because the booker don't see something in you or whatnot, or you just suck as a wrestler. But we all know trash and Swerve Strickland is never in the same category when it comes to this wrestling. So let's get that out the way. But with this match, I said, okay. I guess in my mind, I'm figuring they're probably just going to do a little song and dance, might do a couple chairs here and there. Your typical hardcore stuff. What happened here was basically, I call it the passion of Full Gear. That's basically what we saw. These two men beat the dog snot out of each other. And
I wish I could have found something for the thumbnail, a good picture. So like we can. Oh God, now I can't.
For those who didn't see it, I suggest you find a way to out. You go to YouTube, go to your local torrent website somewhere, and y'all need to watch this match. Hey Doc, how long was that match?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay. So when I said there was a way to, when I said if you want me to be sold on Strickland, I need some type of redemption match or not for make me care. I feel like the missed opportunity was Swerve Strickland versus Ospreay. I forget instead of stupid Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Chris Jericho. You know, I love to see you play a wine die. You're the greatest. You're amazing. But anyway, I was like, we never got that match. If there was ever a redemption match to pull in the casual crowd on his side, it was this match. All I gotta say is to Tony Ding Dong Kong.
Pat Penny.
Do not screw this up. Do not screw his momentum up. Because if you do, if you screw this up, whenever his contract is over, if his contract is over in 2024, we all know who's running WWE now. You don't think Swerve, if he's not being booked properly in 2024, you don't think he's coming back to the E where he thrived in NXT, where he was the man in NXT? If Ding Dong Khan if Khan screws us up.
Look, you're absolutely right. And I mean, it was just something watching this match. It was like one of those things where, everything's getting pulled out in this match, whether it's a staple gun, how many times did he staple them?
You talking about how many times did he get stapled or how many times did Adam Page staple him? Because there's a difference. Both,
yeah, you're right, because Page stapled him so many times. His kid's drawing on his face, that was ridiculous. And then he started swerving up, and then he started stapling himself with it. And I at that point,
I want to say it was about 9 times because I think he got 2 in the face. I know at one point Swerve stapled himself 6 times.
Yep.
And then whatever was left of that is what Page did.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy in some of those spots, and then then they were busted open at that point, and then he was like leaned over him to like drip the blood on him and shit. Oh my God. But they had the concrete block spot where he did like the kind of like Spicoli driver onto the concrete, which was weird because it was definitely like, okay, so I think they had 2 concrete blocks. That I believe was a real one. Then the one later in the match used to hit him was the fake one, was like the breakaway one.
Oh yeah, because the second one definitely, it was like he fell on like, and I was like, it almost like he was just styrofoam.
It did. It was like poof. You're like, what the hell just happened?
It's like Thanos snapped his finger and then the concrete block just vanished.
Right. I think where it got just the most gnarly though had to have been like the chair wrapped in the damn barbed wire when they had and then he threw it up and it got caught in his face. Oh my God, when it got caught in his face.
Here's what it looked like. It was literally like, it was like that. It was just like
his face. Oh my God. Yeah, it was gnarly, so many ridiculous spots, and he was doing the buckshot lariat with the arm wrapped in the barbed wire to hit him with it. Yeah, and then there was a lot of false falls too. Like that, so many times I thought like it was over. There was the one spot for sure where I thought Swerve was done, but then Prince Nana got him up. Remember, we were like it was done. I mean, it would have been a perfectly fine finish too in the match. I probably was still rated the same, but then Prince Nana got him up, and we all freaked out. Like, what the shit? He's like, get up, buddy. So he was great too. I know, like, we don't talk about the managers and the valets enough, but he was great the whole time. He was working the whole match. He was doing his job, and then at the end he took the spot there too on the hardest part of the ring, by the way. But But yeah, it was definitely one of those matches as match of the year contender, because it's a different type of match. It's not in its own right, but it definitely is up there. And again, I would never have said that in my entire life about a Adam Page match. But I talked to my brother too, and he was concurring with me. He basically kind of said the same thing, and he's in the same boat as me when it comes to Mr. Hangnail. So, but yeah, I will say though, it was it was a good match. It was a really good match. I was entertained. They gave him 30 minutes, and yeah, booyah. Whose house? Swerve's house, baby. So yeah. But yeah, that's why to me it's a man meat worthy match. So for sure. And it looks like you give it a good 5-star match, baby.
Definitely 5 stars. Like once again, Mr. Khan, for once you was a complete fool. You finally did something right with Swerve. This is the best. I think this is the best Swerve has looked since he teamed up with Keith Lee. Since he's been at AEW.
Yep.
And that's crazy to think because that was like almost a year and a half ago.
Yep. I know, right? When they had the good push with him. Yeah. That was some good stuff.
Swerve on Glory. Even when they broke up, I was like, okay, let's see what comes from here. Never got that. This Swerve got bounced around from group to group, doing practically nothing for a year and a half.
Yep. Oh, so sad.
But overall, definitely, this is definitely Is it going to be match of the year? Definitely not. But
it'll be in highlight. For sure.
This match is definitely top 10 of 2024.
23. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm already ahead of myself.
Already ahead of yourself. And we do have a chat here. Looks like we got a D-Town guy in the house. What's up, fellas? Yeah, you man. I heard a little something too because it looks. I think someone's a champion. Someone's a current champion. Ah, look at that. Don't worry. We're all coming for it. Sooner than later. So
probably Rumble at this point. We'll see.
Actually, that or Wrestle Kingdom, depending on how many people we get for that. So, but we'll see. But yeah, can I tell you right now, points wise, Chris has already cashed in that Royal Rumble for sure. You're probably going to cash in that Royal Rumble. There's going to be a lot, or I don't know. I'm just guessing. A lot of people have opportunities, so we'll see what happens. Here we go. So yeah, great match. Highlight reels match. Anybody has a chance to watch it, watch it. Just watch that match. And of course, we got D-Town guy 2 times, baby. Yes, 2 times. And don't worry, we'll take care of it until we get that belt back. Me, or of course, Sauce Bronson over here. So here we go. We'll be getting that belt back sooner than later. So on our next match here, which this next match also proves a point that it's not related to like wrestling. But Jericho must have something in his clause that he has to be the second or third to last match of the night, if he's not the main event. Because I've noticed just from every show that we've watched, he's always the second to last or third to last match. It's never deviated to my knowledge of any AEW show. So here we go again. We have the Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, defeating the Young Bucks. So basically winning their tag team opportunity title match. So they will be facing, most likely, at the World's End show. I would say they're going to be facing Big Bill and Ricky Starks. And, I wonder who's going to win that match, Sauce. Who's going to win that match?
Probably the guy who Tony Khan likes the most. I'll let the internet figure that out.
But as for this match, 20-minute match, 20 minutes, 45 seconds. I don't know. This match right here, it was very funny because this match also kind of shows you a little bit of the age. I know that's weird saying that, a match with Jericho. But now Jericho, the Young Bucks. It almost showed you a little bit of the age with them going into it. Yeah, these guys are still young, but they're not. I mean, the balding spot in the back was getting a lot more pronounced. These guys sitting here ripping on John Cena's bald spot, but you guys shouldn't be getting that bald now. Come on, let's go. Like, okay, stop. I wouldn't be making fun of, someone that's been wrestling since 2002, and then you were sitting here already balding. But neither here nor there. As for the actual wrestling, Jericho did a little bit. And when he was out there, he did pretty good. And then he rested up. Tag teams is the best thing for him. Right now, if he wants to keep wrestling, put him in the tag team matches. He's already proven himself in singles matches. He doesn't need to do it anymore. Kenny Omega was actually pretty good. It's kind of funny because I remember watching the Wrestle Kingdom show a few years ago when he fought Kenny Omega. And it was a great match.
Which led to AEW.
What?
Which pretty much led to AEW.
Exactly. It really did. But the idea of just like watching these guys wrestle, I'm like, okay, these guys would be good. But if they win the tag team titles, then it's like, for what then? You know what I mean? So now it's like, oh, Young Bucks are going to be able to talk to Kenny. Like, hey, so, aren't we all friends? Kenny, aren't you our friends? EVP for life, buddy. Yeah. I don't know. I just, so it's just the Bucks part of the match was a Bucks match. If you've watched any Bucks match, this is basically the same thing. Jericho did the job, and then Kenny Omega looked good. He looked good in the match. And it was just pretty straightforward. I did believe for a hot second though that Young Bucks would win that match though, because it just seemed weird that this team they just put them together. Maybe they because that was the idea. If they had lost, they had to disband. So a team just got put together. Maybe they were, maybe they'll just disband them right away. But it looks like they're really going to set up for World's End.
Also, a couple of guy politics aside. Well, the politics part of it. Two guys did just lose their high status. Their high political status in the locker room. So.
Oh yeah, no EVP, no more. No VP. So that could definitely be a reasoning for it, but. No one wants to see the Bucks win the titles anymore. Why? It doesn't make it. No one cares. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was good. 20, but did they need 20 minutes? No, they could have easily.
They could have literally. My bad to cut you off, Don, but
you're fine.
They literally could have accomplished the same goal in 13, 14 minutes.
Yep, and then give 2 more minutes to Tony Storm, give 3 more minutes to, or 3 more minutes, or give 3 more minutes to Chris Statlander and Julia Hart.
That's the most important match. That could have got a little bit more time.
Yeah, but it's like it had to be a 20-minute match, 20 minutes, 20 and a half. It's just that's the kind of stuff that irritates me when I see that, And it looks like we do have another chat here. We got Mark. Thanks, Mark, for joining us. Hey, guys. Adam Cole is the devil. Isn't that funny how the devil wasn't even brought up? There are definitely a lot of theories. Fuck the Bucks. I'm done with them. So are a lot of people too, Mark. But going back to your thing about the devil, a lot of people are not happy that they didn't even, devil wasn't even shown. But yeah, Adam Cole being the devil, that does make a lot of sense. Here's my take on it, and I'm taking a take off of one of our good friends, Chad, actually. And when he said it, it makes sense more and more. Britt Baker, the devil. Now, hear me out. I'm going off of what he said. Every time they showed the devil was always shown from like pretty much the up here up. It easily could have been a woman, strapped down here on the top. And also, it's wrestling. They could have just said it was her anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the exact person. She could come out, strapped down, and walk out the thing and take the mask off and be the devil. And it's like, the devil. and it's me, even though it might not have been her in the old promo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it easily could have been. Like how they were doing the stuff for Bray Wyatt before he had passed away. You know, the Uncle Howdy stuff. The big thing was it was supposed to be, Bo Dallas, right?
Yeah.
He was him. But it could have been anybody dressed as him for the promos until he needed to do the wrestling, and then it was him. So Britt Baker, it would be cool to see on Adam Cole's behalf. But Mark does make a good point here. World's End is where the devil will be revealed, which makes sense if you think about the World's End, you know, Armageddon, you know, we can't do it, which is funny, by the way, because Armageddon for WWE was a December pay-per-view. So, just saying. I think that's kind of interesting.
You know, you take so much from WCW, eventually you got to borrow some stuff from WWE.
Right. But, yeah, so, to me, Adam Cole, it makes sense, but it's like too much sense now, because because now we're talking about the main event now. Well, actually, I think we do have to. Oh, we have to rank on this one. So on this tag team match, I give it a 3. I give it a 3. I mean, it was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sticking with 2 only because. I mean, I love me some Chris Jericho. I love Chris Jericho for the first 5 minutes now. Then after that, watch Kenny Omega flip around, which is cool and all. And then the Bucks do their thing. But overall, it's just like I have really no excitement for this match.
Right.
Well, so even though they put Kenny and Chris over and whatnot, and who knows, maybe the Young Bucks might take a few weeks off. But overall, the match itself was typical Omega, typical Young Bucks. It was just all these ingredients in the pot, and the food just tastes like it was made in a microwave versus a stove.
There you go. So Mark has another one here, another chat here. Thank you for chatting with us, of course. Do you guys think the Golden Jets will be the next tag team champions? And yeah, we kind of talked about that. That the fact that they have a new pay-per-view, they need buy rates. It makes sense to put these top tier guys in a position to win championship gold. So I believe their tag team title match, which they earned by beating the Young Bucks, will basically go at World's End against Big Bill, and Ricky Starks. And they will win the titles. It just makes the most sense. Money-wise, whether they hold on to the belts for any semblance of time, hell, I could even see happen. Watch them have the belts, and then they face Sting and Darby Allin or something for them, so then they can win the tag team titles before Sting retires.
Oh my God! If Sting and Darby Allin, oh my God, I would like have to boycott the AEW until they lose the belts, at least until March, because.
I'm telling you, it could happen. It could happen.
So. I know I'm talking that now, but at the end of the day, I'll be back here that Tuesday just bitching and complaining.
Yep. It's like, see you Tuesday. That's the best. So, Mark's got a new chat here. Thank you again. Who do you guys think will win the Continental Classic tourney? Which actually, this is a good point, which now confirmation's here because it was a little confusing because Eddie Kingston, who is the Mad King, is my boy. We all thought he was definitely saying the wrong thing at the pay-per-view when he was explaining it. Apparently, he was not. So what they're doing is they're coming up with a Triple Crown Championship, which is the Ring of Honor Championship, the New Japan Strong Championship, and which will then create the Continental Championship as its own belt. And it'll be a triple, and then because now all those belts are on the line, his belts, they'll become a Triple Crown champion. That's how, from what I read. It's crazy to think that. Now you're going to have a new belt that's a continental title, but you already have an international title, which is like an intercontinental title. So I don't know. Now, I do like the idea that it's a Triple Crown championship because New Japan used that. All Japan have used Triple Crowns titles before, where you have to win 3 titles to be the champion, which I think is kind of a cool premise.
Right.
Who do you think will win? I still have I have a soft spot for the Mad King, but unfortunately, I do not think he's going to come out of this championship, this tourney, the winner.
Have they announced anybody yet?
I think they might have announced the first round of it. I did not see the first round. I'll tell you right now, if Cesaro's not in it, then I'm gonna be mad. Like, here's people that need to be in this. All right, what's this off the top of my head? Andrade, Miro, Cesaro, Black should be in it. Let's see who else should be in it. Orange, there you go. Like, I'm not sure.
Penta.
Yep. And so there's some other people. Yep. So
it may be I would say maybe either Brody or Malachi may represent.
And well, Mark's got another one. We have Danielson would have to be the odds-on favorite to win. That does make sense.
Part of me wants to agree, but the other part of me, I feel like right now they're focusing. They're having him focus more on Wrestle Kingdom.
They really are, but the idea too, I do kind of. Here's another reason I like it. The idea that if they have this belt, which is also got New Japan, the belt would be connected to New Japan.
Yeah,
show up at the Wrestle Kingdom, and the matches for that Continental title, depending on how.
Because is Danielson going to wrestle twice in one night at Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, he said this is the last time, right? His last year. Make it count. Make it count. I would love that cross promotion with it. So and who better to fight it than Okada? You know. He even said Scorpio Sky. Hey, I liked Scorpio Sky in the early days of AEW. I thought there was some good matches he had. So
yeah, he still works there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that on that bloated roster.
Yeah, it's like 200. Last time I checked, it's like a little bit over 200 people that's on that payroll.
But so we're gonna move into the main event of the night, and there was slightly a little backstory because if there was ever an overworked match, and I don't even mean the match itself per se, I mean like the follow up to it was this match. So again, on the pre-show, you had MJF and Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor tag team titles against the Guns. Into the match, MJF gets injured. Like, he's selling it pretty good. Then literally, like what? It was about an hour into the match, the pay-per-view, Shivani comes out, says, well, the match is canceled because he's injured. Then Adam Cole comes out with a big beard. When I say big beard, like his gray and splotchy beard. He on his cast boot saying, I'm going to take his spot. I'm taking his spot. And then they officially, after that, changed the match to Adam Cole versus Jay White. The match starts. Adam Cole walks out on crutches. Like, come on, guys. Like, we've seen this kind of happen before, but it was so overworked. And then who comes back driving the ambulance? But MJF. Like, and then I hit him. Oh, he knocked him out? He knocked out the EMT? He just stole the ambulance? Let's go. Are we Austin now? We back in the days of, like, Austin stealing ambulances and coming back? And I don't, oh, my God. But before I get into that, I got one more chat. There's another chat here. So we got Mark. We got, when do you think Mercedes Moné is coming to AEW? So I think they made an announcement. Well, not a real, not one of his weekly announcements, but where that she's not going to wrestle until 24. She was still rehabbing that broken ankle injury that she had.
Revolution, maybe.
Yep. So she will probably not debut until 24. It also depends, too, is if she has anything left on her New Japan contracts. Typically, those are match-by-match basis. So if New Japan wants to have her for Wrestle Kingdom again, like they did, they might have her there again if she's able to wrestle. I will tell you, anything is better than what they did at the Wembley show with her. It was still the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The Wembley show, they could have had her come out on the stage during the women's match, kind of show off like, hey, I'm here, all the yada, yada, yada. No, she was in the stands. She was like in the stand. They just kind of show a camera of her just sitting there on her phone or just kind of like, hey, whatever. Like, it was a very weird kind of thing. And I don't know. Still weird to this day. I don't think she'll debut until Revolution. Revolution probably be what I believe. If you had to say AEW, the Revolution March pay-per-view will probably when she actually debuts with AEW.
Like, well, I'll tell you that she'll probably wrestle at Revolution, but I think she'll debut probably like maybe 2-3 weeks before.
There you go. Actually,
you got to stir up the pot to make people want to go watch a $40 pay-per-view.
Yep. Nope, you're right. That makes more sense. So, but as for this match, though, with the so MJF comes back, and now he's ready to wrestle. And the match itself is pretty good. They give it another 30-minute match. So they have 30 minutes for this match. And these guys did it. I mean, they kind of pulled out all stops. Like, another one where you really didn't believe who's going to win. There was a couple times I really thought Jay White was just going to win the belt, But there's two things to take away from this match that I just found out after the fact. Apparently, so we saw the spot where Jay White got put on the table. Table broke immediately. Table broke immediately, which is weird because the table took some hits earlier in the match or the pay-per-view. It's what it is. So instead of putting getting the table out or anything, he still does his elbow drop spot on the ground. No cushion from cushion, but from the table. Apparently, his hip was popped out of his spot. His hip popped out, and they had to pop it back in after the match. So that's from what the reports were saying. So that's rough. That's rough if you think about that.
Listen, Cactus Jack, he did things for us that we didn't have to do.
Yep. Yeah. No, I got you. But as for, like I said, the match itself, it was very good. They're really pushing MJF, the wrestling aspect for him. And this match really kind of proved it some more. Was it as good as his Iron Man match with Danielson? No. That match is like a match of the year contender. That was storytelling, a little overbooked, but still pretty good, Yeah, I don't know.
What are we thinking, Doc?
As for for a score, yeah, I'm going to give that 4.5. I'm going to give that a 4.5 right there. So, yeah, 4.5 headlocks. My only concern of why I'm not giving that 5 is again, the match was it was stupidly overworked. You didn't have to do the whole. Well, he's not cleared. We're going to cancel the match. Now Adam Cole's going to take the spot. Clearly knowing he wasn't going to. It was all you had to say was that we saw him get beat up. You could have just seen him get beat up and then that was it. So, and then he just comes back just like how in almost all wrestling, they come back and they're hurt and then they have to fight. So, but what would you give, man? What are you going to give?
I mean, at this point, I'm just going with 2 only because.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yes, it's cool that we've been seeing the wrestling aspect of MJF, even though we all show up to see what he says on the mic. But now he's doing these 2-a-days at every pay-per-view, and let's get to the point now. It's just okay, it was cool. It was cool that you set this up on your pre-show, and I don't care what anybody says. When people try to justify putting your champion, putting your main face of your face of the company on a pre-show, if you that goes back to show that if you knew how to book better, you wouldn't have to do that.
Yep.
But it's just all these two now we do basically he's doing 2 matches every pay-per-view. It's getting to the point now where I'm just listen, y'all beating the dead horse right now. Can we please move
on? Right.
As far as the match is a story, I will say, as far as the storytelling in the match, yeah, that part was cool. But now it's just to the point I'm just over it. I'm listen, Stop having this man work twice every pay-per-view. It's starting to become it at this point. It's not even. There's no like mystique, no hype around it no more. It's just okay. Now it's getting to the point. It's like, okay, who's MJF fighting on the pre-show, and who's he gonna fight 3 hours later?
Yep, I hear you. I'm with you on that, man.
Let's think about this. What if WWE did that with Seth Rollins?
Oh my
God. Rollins fight. He's fighting on Sunday Night Heat or whatever their stupid pre-show is called, and then he's got to fight, and then now he's got to come back out at 10:25 p.m. and now he's got to wrestle again. It's like it's so dumb. Yeah. And it's funny because you get some of these fanboys, they'll crucify WWE if they did that. But when it comes to WCW 2.0, oh no, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they don't want to see it, right? They don't want to see it because it's totally true. They put their glasses on and it says WCW. They're like, wait, what? AEW, wait, what? But as for the show itself, I'd probably give it a solid 3.5.
I agree.
For the whole
as much as I rip on it, that's fair.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. But I'm enough with MJF on the pre-show with these stupid Ring of Honor tag team titles. Like, they're not stupid. They're stupid. You put them on them just so they're being shown. Like, if you want to show them off, then have a match for them. Have something happen. Now, I do know that Ring of Honor has their next show, and there's another problem in December. They got their final show, which I think is like the second week of December or some shit. Something like that. But if they're still champions, they're not going to defend them because you don't want. Oh God. Okay. So yeah, please stop. TK, stop. Bad. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, Full Gear, pretty good show. Still on the fence about getting World's End. Depends on the card. It really does at this point. So we'll let you know when it gets closer to that. But we do have real quick, because obviously this Thanksgiving weekend, we are thankful for everything, for food, our family, and health. Football, baby. Our 8-2 Lions, baby.
Hey, and the Lions about to win a game.
The game.
Listen, if you're from Ohio or around the area of Ohio, this ain't for you. But
here you go. For Ohio, down.
Listen, we about to win the game. Final score is going to be 38-24. The Go Blue.
That sounds pretty good, pretty accurate. So, but yeah, it's going to be football, food, family. Oh my God. Triple F. Let's go. And fighting for wrestling, I guess you would say. Or fighting for families. Who knows? People might do that too. But anyways, we do have the real quick, and I say quick because there's only 5 matches, preview for Survivor Series. And again, 2 of these literally are just like, whatever. I'm just going to get those out of the way. Yeah, Rhea Ripley, champion since WrestleMania. Basically champions like even before then, before she even had a belt. She's facing against Zoe Stark. Why? I don't like. I get you're pushing her, but what? This right here is just the same thing that happened with Zelina Vega back at Backlash earlier this year. That's the same thing. I don't see. There's no possibility in this multiverse and any other variant version of Zoe Stark winning in this match. That's just how confident I am on that. So it is. So yeah, this match is very weird. Now the only thing I can think of is someone's going to come into the match, interfere at the end. I don't know, Nia Jax or Raquel Rodriguez. You know what I mean? Like someone like that might come in to like interfere, set up another feud. But this match itself.
But mommy's walking out of Chicago with that belt.
For sure. They just set this up now. We have Carlito, first pay-per-view match, in years, versus Santos Escobar. So obviously the dissolution of the LWO, where Santos finally did his heel turn, and instead of Rey Mysterio, he's fighting Carlito. So I don't know if they're just like gonna wait on the Carlitos. I think he hurt Ray, whatever. So they're kind of setting that up for it. But like half the people left, like Joaquin Wilde and whoever the other guy is, went with Santos, and then they get everyone else. So it's like, okay, LWO was pretty hot there for a bit. So, but it's what it is. That's another. Seeing Carlito back is cool, but I'm not this cool, I guess.
For the most part, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Interland, most of this card, I can really care less about. Maybe the men's Rumble match. That'll be the thing I'll pay attention to the most. But other than as far as this card go,
Yeah, I hear you. Then in that match, Carlito's got to get the win, I believe, in my opinion. Just makes sense. If he doesn't, it wouldn't be too weird because, whatever his contract is. But I don't care either way. Not particularly care. Now then you have Gunther versus Miz, the Miz.
I got Gunther in 4.
In 4 minutes, is that what you mean?
I got Gunther winning in 4.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I get why Miz is getting this because they're pushing the fact that if he wins, he'll tie Chris Jericho for most Intercontinental title reigns if he wins the match. So they probably using that as a storyline, and also just him working his butt off, Miz, just for past few years, kind of being, whether he's a great heel, whether he was a face, he was getting over, helping out the other talent and everything. So to me, yeah, he's not winning this match, but it'll end up being an okay match. But it's just not going to be like your top tier Gunther match. Not like the Chad Gable matches he had on Raw, and then on the pay-per-view he had the one. But yeah, I would rather see something like that where it's more tied to his wrestling style. But it'll be okay. But this is definitely, to me, it doesn't scream. I'm just happy, I guess, the Intercontinental title is being defended. How about that? On a pay-per-view. There you go. There's my takeaway from it. Then you have the women's War Games match. What is it? War Games match. Where you have it's Bianca Belair, Charlotte, Shotzi, Becky Lynch, and they're versus the new Damage Control of Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. So it's one of those things where two things are going to happen. Now that you have like Kairi Sane and joining the group, that it's heavily likely that Bayley's getting kicked out of Damage Control. Like she's going to get kicked out because you almost have a forming of the Triple Tails group.
I was about to say, I was like, wait a minute, didn't this happen before?
So it literally is going to be the same thing with Dakota Kai, who's still injured. So that's why she's not wrestling. Being kind of like,
why are you talking?
Yeah. So it's really weird seeing the fact that you have Bianca, Charlotte, and Becky on the same team now. When, and I get it's wrestling, kayfabe's alive, 3-month rule, we got all this fun shit. But like you guys hated each other, now you like each other. And it's wrestling, whatever. But still, it's still jarring sometimes to see them now that you're teaming together. And you got to be nice to each other.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah.
You know who's in last year's women's Survivor War Games match?
Just read it off to me because I can't remember.
I guess.
I know Bianca was.
No, well, yeah, just take a wild guess while I'm bringing this up.
Bianca, Bayley?
Yeah, basically Bayley in the Damage Control. So 2 years in a row, we get Damage Control in the War Games match.
Really trying to push them. Well, that's the difference now because now you have Asuka with Damage Control side and the returning Kairi Sane because Dakota Kai can't wrestle, right now. So it's like the same group, but it's like added members, but on the different side.
Yep.
And then you have like Charlotte Flair back because she wasn't there last year because she had come back, at the end of the year. But yeah, it's like, should I care about this match? I don't know. Not I don't really
care. No, but I feel like it is going to be a bit entertaining because we do got 4 solid workers. I mean, we got 8 solid workers in one match. So storyline doesn't give us, there's really not much storyline for us to care about. But the wrestling part, we'll just look at it like an AEW match.
I'll tell you right now, actually, the match, you're going to see a spot. Kairi Sane has one of the best elbow drops I've ever seen. If you ever watch it, it's insane. Like, she puts so much emphasis and weight into it. She's going off top of that cage. Someone's getting hit with that elbow. Someone's getting hit with that elbow. But, yeah, as for, like, just who's going to win, I mean, I feel like damage.
It's going to be the baby faces.
See, it makes sense, but I feel like if Damage Control wins, it breaks up the baby faces, and then they start fighting again because it's kind of unnatural that all 3 of them are going to be together.
Oh, I take that back. Actually, let's say Damage Control wins and Bailey gets kicked out.
There you go. I can already see that going. The smoke, the wheels going right there.
It's my brain. Now my brain's just flip flopping back and forth between the 2 teams.
Right.
But I'm gonna say definitely Damage Control wins, Bailey gets kicked out.
There you go. I like that. Then of course the last match that's on the card is the men's War Games match, which, based off the promo that happened yesterday on Raw, it was a little heavy-handed, but it was still fun. The heavy rumor that was definitely come true is that Randy Orton is returning at War Games to be the 5th member of their side, of Cody Rhodes' side. It was kind of cool in the promo. He's just like, I've got a legacy with this guy, and I'm like, I see what I see what he did there. Wait,
there's voices in my head telling me.
Voices.
And there was another one he did. He did like 4 more and whatnot. I was like, okay, yeah, I did.
Why? I would have loved if they started talking and he went, "Hey, nothing you can say." Well, get me like going off his first. I would have been like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" But here's the problem: like you did, like he didn't show up. I'm wrong. Like, I know you're gonna wait till the pay-per-view, but it was this weird thing he's gonna be there and then he's not there. Like, he didn't show up.
When I first saw it, I thought to myself the same thing. I was like, I was like, he's not there though. But I think at the same time, with the crowd getting hot, that's basically only going to make. I think it's better. It probably was better for him to save it for Saturday, because as soon as that music hits, the roof's going to blow off the United Center.
Yep, absolutely. So just to kind of run down for the teams, it's Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, main event Jey, Sami Zayn, and then of course the returning Randy Orton, and they're versus the Judgment Day, superpowered Judgment Day at this point, of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough, and then of course the newly heel Drew McIntyre. So, it's insane how much Judgment Day has been pushed, but I'm just sick of just these rematches in different variations for months at a time. I'm just so over it. Something's got to give now, like to the point where it's like either take over the whole show like NWO Black and White did back in the day, or like whatever. Like, I don't know, something's going to happen. McIntyre turned heel. That's something that happened. He's not like in Judgment Day. He's just, I'm going to side with you. I'm mad at those guys. Whatever. I don't know. I just think if, with the ending of this match, it's going to have to be, I don't know. It makes sense Randy Orton has to win, right? Like, why if Randy Orton doesn't win, that's shocking. At least his team winning. And JD McDonough is perfect to take the fall. He's just the fall guy, man. He's just
let him. I forgot War Games is not elimination based.
It's not. So it's only the first pinfall or submission. So, it's why I assumed it's going to be JD McDonough or maybe even Finn Balor taking the pin. I just don't see Drew or Damian Priest. Maybe Damian Priest. He couldn't take it to just the.
No, I feel like that'll kill his momentum a bit. Well, what momentum he still has.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, then JD's gonna be like, you're the man. You're taking it. You're taking it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it makes sense. Like Randy Orton and them have to. I feel like they have to win. But if they don't, they could do some, some kind of because they have to set up now. Now you're getting ready for, going into December within the start of WrestleMania season. So now the storylines have to start working. Like we have to start working these storylines. I don't know. Do you think? And you think before we kind of check out for this, do you think Solo? Well, wait a minute. I thought Solo had a match on this. See, that's the problem. I thought he had the wrestle match on here. Apparently,
they'll probably just give him some on SmackDown.
So, do you think Solo shows up or something and Jimmy to cause trouble in the show at all?
Who do they got beef with as far as on the babyface side still?
Jay Uso, pretty much.
But do they? Still?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because Jimmy and Solo are still with Roman and Jay's, not
right.
So
right.
I don't know.
I guess they could have a spot for Solo. I mean, for Solo to show up and just to beat up on Jay. And then they all beat up him and throw him back out. I don't think he'll be a difference maker, but I can see it happening.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So that's pretty much that's Survivor Series, which is so weird. Just because in the past there'd be a little bit more to it, but it's never been my favorite show, anyways. When it comes down to the big pay-per-view.
I used to really, really love it, but now the last 5 years, I mean, War Games was fun last year, but outside of it, it's just like,
Yeah, exactly. But as we kind of wind it down here, we do have, as we always have, our heat of the week. And I'm going to throw it over to you, man. And
I think we're going to be a unit. I think when I say this, I feel like we're going to both have the same heat. Let me ask you a question, Doc. Does your heat week involve a match?
It does.
Does it involve a match in AEW?
It does.
Does it involve a guy who used to be a part of the Bullet Club?
It does.
As one of our participants. So at this point, I think we both in unison. Our heat of the week is going to be the Texas Death Match in Los Angeles between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland.
For sure. Yeah, it just, like I said, it was a great match. It caught me. Again, it's one of those things where your expectations were like mid. So that's good. And then when it exceeds them, then it makes it even that better. So, and that's what happened to me, especially, I won't be trashing on him that much now. Now, here's the thing though. Now that he got beat up again, he's got to follow up with something. I don't know what, but it's Swerve's house now, baby. There we go. Let's go. I like it. It was good. For a second there, we'll be in the same thing. So, but yeah, that works. But yeah, so another good show. Of course, we always thank everyone here to all the chats here. Mark, looks like it was the first time seeing you chat.
Shout out to Mark.
Thank you very much. But we got the Thanksgiving Day weekend, Black Friday for shopping. Then we have football, Thanksgiving, football also on Black Friday. Then we have college ball, the only game that matters on Saturday. So, and then of course Survivor Series. So we have a lot to do. It's gonna be a good weekend. We have to make sure we have fun with our friends and family that's hanging out or anything like that. But yeah. And we'll definitely be back here next week. And I'm trying to see 28th. Yeah. So I don't know why I was like, I forgot what date it was actually for a second. But yeah, so next Tuesday we'll be back, chat about some Survivor Series, and then just upcoming plans for the rest of the year for the podcast. But with that being all said and done, I'm Dr. Love. And of course, I can't do without him. This guy right here, Sauce Bronson.
Listen, I just work here, okay? But listen, on that note, you guys be happy, be healthy. Most importantly, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy that time with your loved ones. It's only a couple times a year. You get to be in the living room with people that you love, like, or for the most part, just tolerate or whatnot. But if you for those who are going to be downtown the parade, make sure you enjoy yourself. And remember, it's about family, especially about the kids. So when the mascots, everybody throwing candy out, don't try to like knock over the children just to get candy that came fresh from Dollar Tree,
right?
So whatnot. But Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's the only holiday that matters in life: football and food. And other than that, y'all be happy, y'all be healthy, y'all be safe. Most importantly, be good and go blue. Ohio State sucks.